Welcome to the Lowland League Catchup. It's myself, Chris, and I'm joined by Derek. How are you doing, mate?
I'm really well, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, brilliant. But the band's back together because we also have Sean Spedden. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm good, thanks. Busy weekend, but glad to be doing this as always on a Sunday afternoon.
We'll get straight into the games. There was a postponed game. It was obviously Gretna 2008 versus Berwick Rangers at Raydale Park. The pitch was waterlogged, unfortunately, so both Gretna and Berwick Rangers will have to wait a wee while longer for their first win in the Lowland League. We picked out our match of the week last week, Sean. Obviously, Derek, you weren't on the show. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since there's been three of us on it, in fairness. But Edinburgh University versus Vale of Leven. It was another game that both teams were desperate to get their first 3 points, and it was Edinburgh Uni at home at East Peffermill that took the opportunity. They won 3-1. 24 minutes in, they were off to a flyer with Patrick Baird hitting the back of the net. And it was 2 goals before half-time. The 39th minute, it was Stuart McFarlane making it 2-0. And the 42nd minute, it was Aidan Kemp giving Edinburgh Uni a 3-0 advantage going into half-time. Second half, Brad Rickson scored quite early for Vale of Leven, probably around the 55th minute. It looked like Vale of Leven could possibly get back into it, but Edinburgh Uni obviously done really well to see out the win there. 90th minute, they did go down to 10 men, however, with Daniel Macbeth sent off for serious foul play. Brilliant win for Edinburgh Uni. It was an early season 6-pointer, hence why we made it our match of the week. I was kind of critical of Edinburgh Uni against East Stirlingshire. They had a few opportunities where they got through, and their final third play was a wee bit, I just thought they were missing, so it's really great that they've went out and put 3 past Vale of Leven. Obviously, Vale of Leven, they're winless in 4. It's a wee bit concerning for them, I would say, especially in these head-to-heads that are going to probably determine how the league's going to go.
To be honest, I think myself and Sean will probably come off the same hymn sheet here, because you've got to be concerned about it for Vale of Leven side of things. But firstly, well done to Edinburgh Uni, because as you said, they kind of flattered to deceive. But obviously we know the issues they've got. They're waiting to bolster the squad. It's early days for them. End of September is when we can properly make an assessment, I think, on where they are. But I don't think any of us gave Uni a chance in this one, did we? Really? So
no. It's
a really impressive result just on the face of it. And when you look at the way the match went, it seems like they deserved it. Like they had the kind of lion's share of chances. You've just got to give them and Dorian great credit. Ando, I'm sure will be concerned, but I noticed he actually came on the field himself yesterday, which suggests that bodies were a wee bit of a premium for Leven. So it might not be what it looks like on the face of it as concerning, but we had a chat in pre-season about how they'd bolstered their squad and hopefully would avoid this kind of thing. If Ando's playing himself, that suggests to me that they've still got a fair amount of lads that aren't available just now, and that should be concerning, I think, especially at this point. And we've only just started the campaign. You'd maybe expect bodies to be kind of falling away a wee bit as December approaches, but yeah, I'm sure Chris will just want to get this behind him and get points on the board ASAP after it. And as I say, it's too early to judge any team, but I'd be very, very concerned, at the least, if I was a Vale of Leven fan just now.
I think the biggest thing here is we said, and I think something that will go undisputed for the whole season is, for these guys to get out of that relegation battle, they're going to need to play well against the teams around them at the foot of the table, because the strength up the top is so strong. So, well done to Edinburgh Uni, because this is one of those games where they've, 3 points could prove vital come the end of the year, and they've gone out and they've done what needs done. And yeah, I echo what you both say, a bit concerning start for Vale of Leven. Still early doors, but it's not where you want to be sitting this early on no points.
Yep, and on that note, we'll go straight into University of Stirling versus Cumbernauld Colts. A great advert for the league, this one, 4-4 at Forthbank Stadium. It was University of Stirling that took the lead, 25th minute. Robbie McHale releases Jason Jarvis, who fires past the keeper. 3 minutes later, it was an indirect free kick in the box, worked well. It fell to Aidan Pedden, who fires high and into the net. It was 2-0 Stirling Uni at half time. The Colts came out blazing. 3 minutes into the second half, Craig Murray gets Colts a goal. The 65th minute, Marty Wright got the equaliser to make it 2-2, and on the 72nd minute, Marty Wright got his brace and puts Colts ahead in the game. He became provider on the 75th minute as he set up Stephen O'Neill to make it 4-2 Colts. But not to be outdone, Stirling Uni obviously not happy to lose a 2-0 lead. They came back into it. Skipper Angus Mailer made it 4-3 in the 81st, and it was the 89th minute. Lewis Kennedy, what a finish, top corner to make it 4-4. Both teams had chances to win it. We do have an interview with Stirling Uni gaffer Chris Geddes with David Chandler.
Well, Chris, for the neutral, I think that's a great advert for the Lowland League, but for the managers, perhaps not quite as satisfying.
Yeah, I think the coaches in Cumbernaulds dressing room will be feeling like me and Mark. Should have lost, could have won, kind of happy with a draw. But yeah, for the neutral it was a great game, not so much for us.
First half, you got the game absolutely under your control with 2 good goals. Talk us through those.
Yeah, listen, we've got brought in some players this season who are very technically good, so try to make best use of that. And obviously the first goal, Robbie slipped JJ and he's blasted home. It's a really good finish. The second one, Ewan Baird goes clean through, comes off the post. They give away an indirect free kick, and then the boys have worked something that they've done themselves, and Aidan Peen's blasted it in the top corner for 2-0. And then we've went in at half time quite comfortable, but obviously knowing that Cumbernauld are that good a team that they could have a spell, and obviously they've came out second half and we haven't performed, and they upped it a little bit and we just dipped, and they obviously took control at bits.
The big turning point arguably was their goal early in the second half, and how did you feel the team reacted to that?
Yeah, well, they've done for them great. They've worked a corner routine, guy's spun round, he's put it away great, and then we've had a great chance to make it 3-1 and the keeper's made a decent save, so you're thinking, oh no. But then even after that, I think for the next 10 minutes or so we had the ball was in their half a lot, and then obviously there's been a crazy spell of, I don't know what it was, I'll be honest, I can't remember, but they scored 4 goals in 26 minutes in the second half, so obviously we were like, oh my goodness, what's happening here? And then thankfully we've managed to get 2 late ones.
Yeah, a young team finds itself 4-2 down after being 2-0 up. They showed character though, to come back. Definitely,
obviously our average age outfield players is 19 and a bit, taking away our goalkeepers who are more experienced, so to be 19 and a bit against an experienced team like Cumbernauld, obviously 6-7 minutes to go, Angus, we do some good link up in the edge, comes to Gus, he turns, he blasts it in the top corner, and then we've got 6-7-8 minutes to try and get one, but then Cumbernauld, Matty right up front, really good player, very smart, he goes clean through and he should score, he hits the post and then he misses from 6 yards, so you're thinking that's a relief. And then obviously we've done great again, some link up in the edge of the box, it's fell to Louis, 17-year-old, with his bad foot, and he whips one in the top corner for 4-all, and then obviously both teams just seen it out, so should have won, should have lost, take a draw, but disappointed that we've dropped the points.
Chris, thanks very much.
No problem.
Obviously, I want to thank David Chandler for his interview with Chris there. Obviously, both teams will kind of be disappointing to lose 2-goal leads, basically, but it seemed to me like, really hungry teams. Colts remain undefeated. Stirling Uni were just coming off that fantastic away win against Berwick. It just shows you it's how competitive this league is, and a massive well done to Stirling Uni. Obviously, I think the average age for outfield players was 19-year-old, so it just shows you that there's top quality in this league. Fantastic game, fantastic game to promote the league. A great advert for the league.
No, absolutely, and I agree. Both sides, going to be a bit disappointing when you score 4 goals that you don't take away 3 points, but they've both made excellent starts to the season. University of Stirling, they have dropped. They have got a loss against them, but that was against Seville on a Tuesday night away from home, so that was always going to be a tough fixture. And Cumbernauld Colts, they're still unbeaten. It might only be 3 games in, but that's a nice bit of momentum to get you going. They're 2 teams that I had a little bit of doubt before the season started. I wasn't sure how they were going to fare with how the league strengthened, but I think both sides have got to be delighted with how they've started off this year.
Yeah, definitely. Don't really have too much to add, to be honest, and both sides, as you say, Chris, will be upset they've not got the 3 points, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it draws a fair result for 2 teams that have thrown caution to the wind and just gone for it. A little side note, I did notice at half time the Berwick fan account, the black and gold fan account, saying maybe our result against Uni wasn't actually that bad, which then coincided with Colts scoring 4 goals. So I don't know if we're talking about jinxes earlier on, I don't know if that kind of influenced it, but yeah, you've got to say it's a great advert for the league again. Chris has done a great job again with those guys over the summertime, and they're only going to get stronger. Uni, as you said, they've got a young squad there, and they've got a couple more bodies to come in, no doubt. But I'm actually quite impressed with Cumbernauld Colts early doors. I'll be honest, I didn't expect them to have those 3 games unbeaten, especially with the opposition. So again, you've got to give a shout out to them, and if they can keep that going, we were maybe a wee bit harsh on them in pre-season, saying that we didn't expect them to stay in that kind of top group of teams in the league. They might well push themselves in there.
Yep, and obviously you're referring to jinxes there. The reason being is because I messaged Dell before the Bonnyrigg Rose game. Obviously they didn't win, and then last week I messaged Swifty before the Cumbernauld Colts game and they lost. So
I actually need to give a shout out to Connor, Bonnyrigg fan who I know. He's given me a few thoughts on the game as well. But I'll run through the game first. And it started off with Bonnyrigg taking the lead early doors. 14 minutes on the clock. Free kick for Lee Curry, actually smashed off the crossbar. McGahey was on the line just to make sure. But a little bit tongue-in-cheek, the Bonnyrigg VAR gave it to Cuzza, apparently. So I'm pretty sure McGahey will still claim it. Rose won Shire 0. And then the crossbar was getting a fair rattling. 4 minutes later, another free kick for Curry, and again it hit the crossbar. This time it went out rather than in. But Shire managed to gather themselves, get back on kind of level peg and get an influence in the game, and they got onto level terms. 37 minutes on the clock, cross into the box, and that man Mark Miller equalising, box to box mid, doing what he does best. But half time, from what Connor was saying, it was a pretty even game. It was going to come down to who got the next goal, kind of who would step up and take it, and it ended up being Rose. So just about 15 minutes into the second half, quick free kick for Curry, who had a banger of a game by the sounds of things, into Brown, slotted it through to Kieran McGahey, and he laid it back to Curry, who drilled it into the net. So a great team move, a bit of a kind of set piece off the training ground, so to speak. And when Shire started chasing the game at this point, 2-1, they were throwing bodies forward, they get caught. There was a counter for Bonnyrigg, ball's kind of bobbling about the edge of the box as they get up towards the Shire goal, breaking around, and basically it came over to George Hunter, who put an absolute perler over the head of Barkley, dipping rifle and drive. 3-1, and that was the end of the scoring. But from what Connor was saying, he feels that Rose did deserve the win. He was actually a wee bit surprised with Shire. He expected a bit more for them. I think nerves might have had a wee bit to play in it, because this is really the first time that they've had some adversity to battle against, I think, since they've made all their moves. And he said that Mark Miller was the standout player for Shire. Jamie Bartley also looked pretty decent as well, but ultimately Rose are a team of boys that know each other, and Shire are still very much a group of individuals getting to know each other. So that seems to have been the main difference between the sides, reasonably level on the pitch in terms of talent. But the team has pulled through against the group of boys still getting to grips with each other, basically. I must admit, I was a bit surprised with this result. So what were your thoughts?
For myself, I think, well, yeah, I agree, Robbie Horn and the guys for Bonnyrigg. I think they've made an excellent start to the season, but this was a bit of a surprise to me as well. And I think if we go back and we were to listen to mine and Chris's predictions, I think there was quite a few that threw not only me and Chris off, but a lot of people off. That Edinburgh Uni one we've already discussed, and then this one again, I think we kind of had Shire pegged as being perhaps a little bit too strong for Bonnyrigg, being new to the league. But I think you're spot on in what you've said, that Bonnyrigg, they're a group of guys that for the most part they've been together now for more than a season, and they know how each other ticks, and it's paying off early doors here, and that win's put them at the top of the Lowland League pretty early on. They'll need to show a bit of strength and a bit of consistency to stay there. We saw the same thing with Kelty last season. They came into the league and pretty early on they were at the top, but dropped off a little bit as the long season drained on a bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Bonnyrigg Rose here, but no, it was a fantastic result for those guys. And do you know what, it's not the result Shire would have been looking for, but we spoke about how everybody's going to drop points, one place or another as the season goes on. And I suppose another thing worth pointing out is the cracking support that turned out for Bonnyrigg and Shire. I think they had over 500 at the game as well, which is it's another brilliant advert for the Lowland League. But no, it sounds like a cracking game, and I'm looking forward to the highlights coming out on Shire TV hopefully later today.
Yeah, not much to say that you guys haven't covered. Probably a bit of a shock result. I expected Shire to go out and maybe try and get... We talked about revenge, obviously, because Bonnyrigg beat them last season in the Cup, but it's a tough one. I'm not going to be too concerned. We'll probably get into with the next fixture as well, but I wouldn't be too concerned Shire getting beat this early on. I mean, Bonnyrigg, in fairness, are a good team. I still don't believe they're going to go... they're doing so well at the moment. I still don't believe they're going to be in it for the title, but look, it's a long season ahead. We've been impressed by going into the next fixture a wee bit, but obviously we've been impressed by the likes of Caledonian Braves also, so there'll be teams that'll take points off each other, and it's the same with the likes of Cumbernauld Colts last week beating BSC as well. So a long season ahead. I wouldn't be too concerned, as long as it doesn't become a regular thing and you can bounce back. That's the most important thing, I think, at this level.
Next game up, we've got East Kilbride against the Caledonian Braves. This game was at K Park. Weather took a bit of a turn for the worse at the beginning of the game, but Braves did look to start the at least the first half hour particularly well. East Kilbride did have their chances, but it seemed like it was Ross McNeil, the ex East Kilbride striker, that was getting the better of his old side, playing for now Cali Braves. Went into half time 0-0. Early into the second half though, it was a penalty for Braves, and it was that man Ross McNeil that was able to step up and score to make it 1-0 to the Cali Braves. 10 minutes into the second half, straight from a free kick from about 35 yards out, it was David Sinclair who gave Cali their second goal of the match. 9 minutes after that, in the 64th minute, it was actually the home side that were able to pull one back. The reporting from Cali that onside offside was a bit of a close call, but it was Craig Malcolm that was able to head the ball over Hogarth to pull one back to make it 2-1. 5 minutes from the 90-minute mark though, it was Jean-Guy Lucas with a great strike from the edge of the box that essentially earned Caledonian Braves a very well deserved 3-1 win at K Park. We also got an interview in from Ricky Waddell as well on the match.
So we got a 3-1 win away to East Kilbride this afternoon. You must be delighted with that result.
I'm really happy, really happy. We played to our potential, that was the difference today. We moved the ball well, we played to our shape well, we defended situations where we didn't defend before as well as we did today. You always rigged a wee bit of luck in the game, but essentially we had really good chances to kill off the game as well. So really happy, really proud of the players, their effort, not just the starting 11. I said that it's a team effort, it's a collective from all the staff to the 18 players.
So good for yourselves that when we were 2-1 down, East Kilbride were starting to come into the game and creating chances, but we had that desire to go in and get that third goal. Well,
I'm shouting, what about is now? What are you going to do now? You go a goal down, you lose a goal, makes your deficit 1 goal. It's a difficult situation to play in. So I'm asking questions of them at that point, and they answered them. East Kilbride came into the game a little bit on that at that point, but I just felt we could maybe sneak another goal, and Roscoe had a great chance to make it 3-1, and then we finally get the third.
For yourself, just the amount of chances we did have, and you spoke about Roscoe had numerous attempts that were well saved by the keeper. Like, you must be looking forward, that must be keeping you happy with that. Definitely.
I've been up here before and we've dominated possession of the game, and we've just lacked a wee bit of nous in the 2 boxes, defensive and attacking, but I felt today we had that. I thought the 3 guys, the young guys at the back, you're talking about 18, 20 and 20, I think 21. It was the age group of the back lot, and they defended solidly. Brilliant for Nicky Hogarth to get a start. Flung him in essentially and told him I believed in him, and he came up with the goods at 2-1.
So BSC next week are we up in Alloa, another tough test for us, but what will we take from today? They'll go
It'll be a tough test, it'll be a different proposition, but we take confidence for the day. That's 9 points out of 12. Should have done better against Kelty, but that's football. So we go, we said to them in there that it's about now getting better. Can we get better? Can we produce better than that? Can we perform better than that? Can we work harder at training? And it gives you the foundation to go and do that.
Well done, Gaffer.
Thanks. Cheers.
So thanks to Ricky, Waddell and Cali Braves. You can find that interview on their Twitter as well, and that's at Cali Braves. So yeah, I think, you know, the third sort of shock result there that we've got to so far. East Kilbride were very, very dominant last season in general, but definitely at K Park. It was a very difficult place to go, not just to pick up points, but also to score goals. But you know, they've gone in there and they've done well, and I don't know, what do you guys think about Ross McNeil and the impact that he had going back to K Park? How much do you think that's going to have heart?
We kind of talked about it last week a wee bit. We didn't expect the result, Sean, but obviously we did know Ross McNeil was going to be a factor. We all watched him against Kelty, and he could have had, you know, plenty of goals if it wasn't for really decent defending. He's going to be up there in terms of top scorers. Chances last season at East Kilbride were a wee bit limited, but when he did play, he did get goals. He is a goal scorer. In terms of the result, I mean, people are going to be a bit, you know, because it's at K Park, you know, they've been beaten by a Caledonian Braves side, but we said, you know, going back to last week when we saw them, we were impressed by them. I wasn't expecting the result, but again, Shire, BSC, East Kilbride, teams that have lost that you expect them to be up there. It's really, really early doors. I wouldn't be too concerned given the fact that likes of Kelty and Bonnyrigg and everyone else still have, you know, these other teams to play. So it's going to be one of those things where we might look back later in the season and say, like, why did we panic about it? Because there's definitely going to be there's definitely a lot of football to be played. But yeah, it's definitely a shock that they lost at K Park, but not a total shock, because we know that Caledonian Braves put a good team together this season, and they look like they'll be probably higher than we expected at the start of the season, I would say.
I think all three of us had our eyes opened basically when we went to go and see them play Kelty, didn't we? Because despite the result, they were very impressive in spells, and they were certainly better on the field than what I thought they would be. But I haven't seen that game. I don't think this result comes as big a shock as many folk have seen it. Kilby obviously had a brilliant season last season, but the thing with the league as a whole is every single team's improving at different rates, obviously, but Caledonian have obviously taken a massive step forward this year. When you see the highlights and you see the goals themselves, especially the third goal, they're all really well worked and good football getting played. They basically played Kilby their own game. And last season I feel that a lot of teams went to K Park and maybe showed a wee bit too much respect to Kilby and essentially turned up hoping not to get beat too heavily. Cali don't have that about them. Cali have got a brashness that basically says, we feel like we can beat any team in this league. Like, they were still attacking Kelty. You know, if there's any team this season that you'd expect teams to kind of sit in, defend and hit in the counter, you'd expect them to do it against Kelty, but they didn't have any of that. They still tried to play their own game and were rewarded with Ross McNeil getting a goal. So, and you need to give Ricky a huge amount of credit, I think, for this. Don't be too concerned with the Kilby side of things, I would say. They've still got more than enough talent, and Malks has been there and done it. They'll bounce back. That one result won't impact them too heavily. But yeah, Cali Braves are certainly putting themselves in with a shout at maybe even joining in the title chase, who knows. We've had a few shock results up to this point. Sorry to inform you that this one kind of went according to what the predictions were. BSC playing host to Dalbeatty Star, and it was a comfortable home win in the end at the end of Drill Stadium. So we'll start off 22 minutes on the clock, and BSC had started stronger with more possession. This one was a penalty as Tamor went to ground in the box. As Michael said in the Twitter, it was a soft one. I'd maybe go as far as saying it wasn't a penalty, to be honest. Tam kind of got the ball in the box, turned, there was a wee bit of contact, but he was losing his balance, I just don't think it was a penalty, in all honesty. But he did what he had to do, stepped up, put the ball in past Jason Statham, lookalike Vinnie Parker, 1-0. And then on a half-hour mark, it was 2. Robbie McNabb scored. He only scores good goals. He scores 1 a season, and it's always a belter. So 25 yards out, he kind of was standing right in the middle of the pitch, just one thing in his mind, slammed it into the corner, low past Parker, and right on the half-time mark, Dalbeattie Stars' hopes were kind of killed, because this time there was no doubt about the penalty. Tam Orr was brought down after a beautiful flick through from Thomas Collins, put him clean 1-on-1 with the keeper, and Tam actually put it in exactly the same place, down to Parker's left-hand side. So 3-0 at half-time. First play of the second half, BSC got the ball straight back. It broke through to Thomas Collins, who was 1-on-1 with the keeper, and very unselfishly he actually beat the keeper, but then squared it back for Martin Green to finish, and essentially an open goal. Greg Thorburn was there, but you can't expect him to cover the whole net, and Green found the corner of the net, so that was 4-0. And just after the half-hour mark, it looked as if it was about to get quite worrying, ultimately, for Star. That 63 on the clock, ball in from the corner, Declan Hughes, and Ross Smith, the big centre-back, volleyed an absolute peach of a goal into the roof of the net. The big man enjoyed it because he doesn't score many, so he over-celebrated a wee bit. And yeah, other than that, Dalbeattie started getting on the ball a wee bit more, but it was still BSC in the ascendancy. 10 minutes left in the clock, yet again, a third penalty. And it was Tam Collins again, who was just, he had a brilliant game, he was man of the match. This time he was causing a nuisance to himself, flicked the ball away just before the defender could reach it, down he went, Stonewaller, Tam Orr steps up and tried the exact same penalty for a third time. This time Vinnie Parker knew what was coming and saved it. So that was that, denied a hat-trick. 5-0 full time. No doubt the Swifty and BSC will be delighted to bounce back for the Cumbernauld Colts result. For Star, I was a wee bit disappointed, but at the same time, it just wasn't their day. I kind of feel sympathy for them, because the referee, I think they would probably put it in more distinct terms than this, but he seemed to be favouring the home side with his decisions, shall we say. That just 50-50s were more often than not going to BSC. And yeah, he didn't have a great game, to be honest, the ref. But yeah, it's a great win for the home side, and it's just what they need, because it's Caledonian Braves up next.
More controversy there, I don't know.
It's not even controversy, to be honest. The ref just was very poor.
Yep, yeah.
And it just so happened that most of the incidents, because BSC had most of the possession, were tackles on BSC players. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like there were one or two very big challenges going in for Star that he completely ignored as well. But he was calling like really simple little just brushes. Even if they weren't getting appealed for it, just didn't really make much sense.
It's like what you said, it's a fantastic win for BSC. It was probably expected in a lot of ways, but again, I wouldn't be too worried about Star as well, because they've had a really hard opening few fixtures. You know, East Kilbride, Kelty, well, obviously BSC as well, but it's kind of, you don't want to say it's routine, but it's, you know, exactly what Swifty and the lads would have wanted. Something like a big result against Dalbeattie Star would have went down absolutely well, and it's really great that Thomas Collins is getting a wee bit of a shout out, because he's done well since, you know, joining late end of last season. So it's good to see him getting a bit of a shout out, and yeah, great win for BSC.
Good to see BSC knocking some goals in the back of the net. It's something they done really well last season, and obviously at the expense of Dalbeattie, which isn't great for them, but they've gone out and done that, and I think they needed that, especially after the result against Cumbernauld. I think they needed a game like this to just get the heads back up and do what they did so well last season. So yeah, expected result, but a very good one nonetheless.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. Basically, we'll know who Dalbeattie are when they're playing teams around the neck of the woods where they were last season. So if they're going to go and beat the likes of like Villa-Leithen and Gretna and teams that they might have wanted to beat last year and never quite got the results, then we'll see the improvement from them.
Absolutely, yeah. Gallifreydine Rovers versus Spartans at the Netherdale. Spartans won 2-0. It did take some effort though. I believe Gala had probably one of the better chances with what was described as kamikaze defending. Carswell had to be a bit alert for that one. Spartans Twitter guy Mark asking asking how the ball was staying out to the Gala faithful, as well as the likes of David Knox. It was a big shout for Spartans spot kick as Dean Hoskins sees his header stopped by one of the Gala defenders on the post. Looked like an arm used to control it, but as Mark said, he's the one with the Twitter and not the whistle. So it was 0-0 at half time, but certainly both teams had their chances. The 77th minute, Spartans went down to 10 men after Blair Tommy was shown his second yellow of the afternoon. And it was a bit like that old cliche about playing against 10 men. Sometimes it can be a bit harder, because Spartans took the lead 6 minutes later on the 83rd. And it was an absolute peach by Nicky Reid. We've often talked about Nicky Reid. Obviously, he's 16-year-old and he's just fantastic. And Spartan sealed it with Blair Atkinson. He wins the ball at the centre circle as the Gala keeper just raced out, and he pretty much done that thing you do with, taking the piss when you're playing someone at FIFA and you get right through. He kind of walked it towards the net and then absolutely booted it in. So 2-0 Spartans. Certainly not. It didn't seem like a straightforward game for them. Gala obviously doing pretty well early season as well. But a wee shout out to Dean Hoskins. He looks like he's doing a lot of good stuff with Spartans. I've seen he's picked up a few Man of the Match awards. He looks like an incredible signing from Bonnyrigg for Spartans.
It seems like the 10 man thing might have helped Spartans a little bit, because they were struggling to just get over the line there. And it's a game that after the 82 minutes they're both sitting 0-0. It sounds like they both had their chances. They both put up a good fight in the game, and I think 0-0 probably would have been a fair result. Gala will probably be disappointed to the fact that for the last 20 minutes, even the last 15 minutes, they were playing against 10 men. They would have been hoping to be the side that pinched it at the end, but obviously that wasn't the case. And Spartans have done a really good job here, picking up 3 points away from home. Definitely.
Well, I think you just need to give credit for Spartans for seeing it right to the end, even when things were going against them there, especially going down to 10. But I think you're right. I think Dean Hoskins is one of the signings that might not have been kind of initially picked up as much, but he's clearly hit the ground running. And when BSC were away to Spartans, I was quite impressed with him. He also took an absolute peach at a penalty as well. So yeah, he seems to hit the ground running for them. And obviously left back was a position where Gary Chen was for them previously, so the fact that they've managed to stitch that up so nicely will be a great boon to the Spartans overall. But you kind of need to feel sorry for Gala, I think, this one. They've obviously given this a right good go and they've played really well. For all the doubts we had in pre-season and other people weren't sure about them, they've started the season really well, I think. You've got to give credit to them, to Richie Maxwell and so on. But yeah, ultimately Spartans do what they tend to do over the past few years. They've ground out the result when it looked as if they weren't going to. They're keeping themselves going, and Nicky Reid's just a wee prodigy, isn't he? He looks really good, really good. If anyone gets a chance, if you go to Spartans Twitter, you'll see his goal. And it wasn't a simple one. It was a great strike.
It's a peach. It's good to see Nicky get some game time in the first team. We said a lot about him last season when we first saw him. Quite small. The old Scottish mentality, especially with coaches that, he's too small to make it and this, that and the next thing. But the likes of Lionel Messi changed that sort of, because it doesn't. He's an incredible player given his size and stature, but the fact that he's 16-year-old and he's playing in a senior team is a testament to the Spartans, how they've done in the academy, and obviously Blair Atkinson, another one that scored that was a part of the academy too. So yeah, absolutely fantastic for Spartans there. So we'll move on to Kelty versus Civil Strollers at New Central Park. It's our last game that we're going to cover, and they won 5-0. It was quite early doors again, 8 minutes in. Nathan Austin gets in between the Civil defenders and slots home for the opener. 2 minutes later, he had a chance to get a brace. It was a low drive just past the post, but he did manage to get his brace on the 14th minute. He makes it 2 for himself and 2 for Kelty. But he did unfortunately have to go off, a few minutes later. The 22nd minute, he was substituted for Ross Much. I think he had an issue with his hamstring. It was quite scrappy the rest of the second half. Civil did have their chances, mainly through Cammy Muirhead, but nothing really too much going on. As I say, the ref had his whistle in his mouth quite a lot. Ball up in the air, sort of free kicks here and there, sort of thing. Second half, Kelty were off to a flyer again. 47th minute, it was a penalty to Kelty, and Scott Linton puts it away for 3-0. 52nd minute, it was the Civil keeper making a really good save from Stephen Husband, but Chris Dodd was there to make it 4 on the deflection. And right at the end of the game, the 86th minute, it was good pressing from Ross Much. He won the ball off the Civil defender. He takes it forward to lay it off for Stuart Cargill, who slots home for 5. We do have an interview with Kelty manager Barry Ferguson with Mark McCabe.
Barry, another 3 points on the board, but probably not the best performance this season, would you say?
No, I just had a chat just before the boys done their their warm down, and we've played better, but listen, teams are going to find it difficult when they come up against Civil. They've got a certain way of playing which is effective, and we knew that, but I've seen us play better, as I said, and the happy bit for me is when I say that to the players, they're in agreement, because they've got high standards, the same as myself, which I've tried to install since I've come in, and these boys have certainly took that on board. But no, look, you come away winning 5-0 and you're still not happy. It might sound crazy, but look, in terms of work rate and effort and commitment, the amount the guys put in during the game, I mean, I can never question that. You just need to see it with your own eyes. And I thought the goals, we finished off really well. Disappointing to lose Fash with a hamstring, and obviously we're missing Dylan as well with a slight knee problem. But no, look, overall, played better, but delighted to come away with the 3 points.
You mentioned Fash there and Dylan. Is there any update on them? Team skills at all? No,
well, to be fair, Fash done the right thing, and he just slightly felt his hamstring, so look, I'm not going to risk him. He's a massive player for us, so that was more precaution to bring him off, and we'll just need to see how he is in Tuesday. Dylan, touch and go for Tuesday, but certainly should be back for next Saturday, and we might look to maybe try and add 1 or 2 players, because we need to keep improving. That's the thing, we just can't sit and be happy. I mean, picking up and playing decent football and scoring goals, we still always need to continue to try and improve, and that's what we'll do.
I also want to thank Barry Ferguson and Mark McCabe for that interview there. Yeah, there's not too much that can't be said about Kelty Hearts at the moment. They're absolutely on fire. It's quite scary how good they are. I know Barry wasn't happy with some of the performance. He did give a wee bit of smile on his interview. I mean, they won 5-0, but it's just a testament to how high Barry Ferguson's standards are, and obviously the players are believing in it, and they're just very scary. We talked about it against Albete and teams like that. Sometimes it feels like it spells they're not coming out that sort of second gear, and they're still winning comfortable. It's they're doing really well early season. I don't know what else I can really say about it. It's just it's frightening, really.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways from that game for myself was, Civil, it was definitely a tough game for them, but they kept pushing. There was a couple of standout guys. There was a young boy, I think they've got him in from Dunfermline, that was playing at the back. He had a really good game despite the scoreline. And one of the telling things from Kelty was there's a lot of big names in there, and Fash is one of the bigger names. To see how the fact that they were able to react and still score another 3 after he went off after 20 minutes, I think was a testament to just how good the team's gelling early on in the season. But yeah, there's not a great deal to say. It was a fairly dominating win. I wouldn't take too much away from Civil though, because they still caused issues at points for Kelty, and they kept pushing throughout the game as well, which is always good to see.
Must have been, to be honest, I didn't really expect a 5-0 scoreline here, so it's a bit of an eye-opener that way, but I've seen Kelty. They're obviously looking to win this league. They were very impressive. I've seen them before, so it's not altogether a surprise that they've managed to stick 5 past Strollers and march on. I wouldn't be doing my job properly though if I didn't throw a wee question or two up. I have been asked this, so I'll kind of throw them to you two as well. Is there a danger, do you think, of Kelty getting a wee bit overconfident given 1 or 2 injuries could change things?
Well, I can't say not really, because we're still early in the season. It's a good question because it will be tougher, especially when there's going to be injuries and suspensions, but they lost Dylan Easton quite early. He'll be back soon, but they've been playing really well without him. Fash might, be sat out a couple of games, and they scored 3 without him. Ross Philp was up front, and he done a fantastic job. He could have had a couple against Civil Service if it wasn't for the keeper. Having spoke to the boys and the gaffer, they're taking it one game at a time. So I don't think they're looking too far ahead. I don't think they're really interested in other teams, basically. I think they're keeping their feet on the ground at the moment, and it seems to be working because they're just, as I said, they're frightening at the moment. I think the football they're playing is really, really good. And they're up against some good teams. Obviously, we mentioned Caledonian Braves, how impressed we were with them. Kelty beat them 4-1, and then Civil Service Strollers again, another team that are going to be up there towards the end of the season, in my opinion. And they beat them 5-0, so it's looking good. I think they're just taking it one game at a time, and I don't believe there's going to be an issue over confidence at the moment because Fergie's keeping the boys' feet on the ground and saying, look, these guys are doing well, but the demands and the expectations and the standard guys are playing into that, basically.
Yeah, it was really interesting that you said Ferguson was still upset with a few things despite the results, so clearly he's got one eye on that, just trying to keep feet on the ground and saying, right, don't expect the job to be done till it's done, kind of thing. So if anything, that seems like pretty good management, I'd suggest.
Yeah, I would agree. Spoken to him a few times. He's overly demanding, but he's a winner. We know what he done in his playing career, and it obviously works because we can see it in the results that Kelty are getting early doors. And people say obviously they've got fantastic players there, but there's other teams with fantastic players as well. And again, it's a long season though, Moz. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Kelty and other teams also.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting into the fixtures this week, we start off on Tuesday, Annan Athletic versus Kelty Hearts. Kelty Hearts were the only team that got through to the second round of the Tunnocks Caramel Wafer Challenge Cup. God, that's a mouthful. It's at Galabank down in Annan, obviously. When we spoke about it, Sean, we kind of weren't expecting too many Lowland League teams to get through. We know how good the Colt sides are, but I don't know, the way Kelty are playing at the moment, I think it certainly should be an interesting game to see how they do up against a league side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was something that we spoke about, and we've obviously, and we're not really going to get into reviewing all the fixtures from the Cup and the midweek, but when you do go back and look at something that stuck out to me was how well the Highland teams did, which hasn't really been touched on. Yeah, you're right, in the Lowland League it was only Kelty that were able to progress, although it seems like a few of the teams did put up a good fight. As for this fixture itself, it's going to be a very tough one. I mean, Annan, they scored more goals than anybody else in League 2 last season, so they're more than capable of doing it, and with it being down at Galabank, do you know what? I don't think Kelty are going to face they haven't faced a tougher test up until now. For Kelty, I think if they can go down there, Kelty have got the ability to score goals, and they've got a strong back four there. If they can go down there, they could potentially pinch something. But I think, Annan are a very good League 2 side, and they've made a decent start to their league campaign as well, so see it being a draw and it going to penalties, and then it's anybody's game after that.
To be fair, I think we need to put it in context with the chocolate biscuit cup, I guess we'll call it, as Michael's christened it. When you say a lot of Highland sides did well, and they did, I think when you look at the lineups for a few of the Lowland sides, they used it as a chance to experiment and give guys a chance. So not everyone put a full strength first team lineup out. I think Kelty are slightly different. I think Kelty are taking this competition very seriously as a chance to say, this is how good we are, this is a yardstick. And they would like nothing better than to go and beat Annan, would they? Let's be honest, because that suddenly puts a shout out to all the teams above in League 2 and so on, going, we are not to be messed with. We want to win the league, we want to come up, basically. So I'd expect them to go very kind of strong, given that after this round it's all in. Everyone else joins after this, so could easily get a nice plum tie against a team with a decent crowd, a Falkirk or so, and get a bit of money in the bank. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of support out there, given that they're now flying the flag for the league. Good luck to them, and I actually fancy Kelty to beat Annan, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll get into the Lowland League fixtures on Saturday. There's only 3 of them because of cup games. We'll start with Bonnyrigg Rose versus Dalbeattie Star at New Dundas Park. It doesn't get easier for Dalbeattie Star. They've had out of the teams, towards the bottom, they've not really had the easiest of starts, but they'll be happy obviously to get these teams out of the way, I guess. Bonnyrigg Rose, I would expect them to win it. I mean, I don't see Dalbeattie pulling off too much. It's Bonnyrigg Rose at home are obviously, they're just coming off that fantastic win against Shire. I don't see Dalbeattie Star being too problematic for them, especially at home.
Bonnyrigg, it should be a comfortable win at home. It's how they see out this game, what their objective is, if they want to go out there and see if they can bang some goals in, or if they're just looking to have a disciplined game where they can get the 3 points. That'll be interesting to see. But and for Dalbeattie, I agree, they'll be happy to see these out. But likewise, I think they're still going to come out with a bit of fight, and you know what? There's always a chance of an upset in the Lowland League. So, but I'd definitely give the edge to Bonnyrigg Rose on this one.
Yeah, I think Stick 3 is up for a home win for this one. Not that Dalbeattie were particularly disappointing when I saw them, just with the way Bonnyrigg have started, I think you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to them that they'll go and stick a couple of goals in and win that game.
Yep, the next couple it's going to be tough to choose a match of the week, I think, but certainly BSC Glasgow versus Caledonian Braves at the Indodrill Stadium. This will be a big test for both teams, I think. It's going to be, we've kind of touched on it a wee bit, Derek, but this is going to be a yardstick for both teams to see where they are, because Caledonian Braves have impressed us. We probably weren't expecting them to be as good as they have been. Obviously coming off that fantastic result, the win against the champions East Kilbride, I think they would fancy it against BSC, and obviously BSC Glasgow, they'll not want another loss, like they had against the Colts. This could be a very interesting fixture early doors for the Lowland League.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think especially, we'll get on to the next game as well, but this game and the next game, for any neutrals that are around, get yourselves along to one of them, because both of them look really tasty on paper. I think no result will be a shock in this one. BSC obviously coming off a great result, same for Cali Braves. Both teams more than capable of sticking the ball in the net. You've got McNeil on one side, Tamor on the other. Both sides get similar strengths, actually. Really decent midfield as well, and solid in defence. I can't really call it, so I'm going to just sit on the fence and say a draw, I think. But honestly, no result in this game would surprise me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think a draw would be a fair result. I think if one side does win it, I can see it being a late win and only by a goal towards the end. But that could go either way. It just depends sometimes how it falls on the day. And I totally agree. They've both got very similar strengths. They've had similar results so far this season. They've both been impressive. I think this is a cracking game for next Saturday.
Moving on to our final Lowland League game, Cumbernauld Colts versus Kelty Hearts at Broadwood Stadium. Both undefeated. Interesting to note, obviously, Marty Wright's getting a lot of the goals. It seems like Colts are, they've made a fantastic start to the league campaign. I don't know how to put this, because obviously Cumbernauld Colts did beat them at Broadwood last season. I'd probably give the advantage to Kelty because they're playing so well at the moment, but I don't know, I think it'll be a bit closer than a few of the other games.
Kelty should win this. I think last season, like you say, Broadwood, Cumbernauld were able to take all 3 points, and even back at New Central Park at the end of the season, it took a very late winner for Kelty to steal the spoils in that one. I think it'll be a tougher challenge than some of them we've seen so far. We were talking a little bit earlier on about Kelty, and if we had that question about whether they might get a bit overconfident. I think at some point in the season they are going to see some more challenging matches, and that's where we're going to find out just how good this team is, because they're doing really well when they're knocking in 5 or 8 goals. It's those games where they're really going to have to fight out a win or potentially even go down, which they've not experienced yet. This will be a challenging game for them, and Cumbernauld, that they're strong enough to go out there and do something against Kelty as well, but I'd give edge to Kelty on this one as well.
I can't be boring and make sure that we agree on every single game, so I'll stick for the draw. And this one, just to be different. Genuinely though, it wouldn't surprise me to see Colts give Kelty more of a game than they've had so far, especially given that Kelty's got that big trip midweek as well, bear in mind, to Annan. So this is how Cumbernauld got the result against BSA. They took advantage of a team that were a wee bit jaded for a midweek game and did what they had to do and got the 3 points. So don't be surprised to see the Colts maybe not get a draw, but at least keep this much closer than other games Kelty have had at the start of the season. But yeah, it's another one that I'll be watching with great interest.
Yeah, I didn't mention the fact that they played, midweek, because obviously they've done it this week as well, or last week Muzza, and they still pulled out a 5-0 win against Strollers, so I don't know how much it'll affect them. The boys, the Kelty boys, I think they're incredibly fit, so, but yeah, you could be right. I mean, we mentioned that there was close games last season between these two teams. I do agree with you both, and I think it will be a closer test than Kelty have had, especially we mentioned obviously the bigger pitch last season in Broadwood. It's going to be an interesting one. Certainly it's up there in terms of games early doors anyway. But we'll get into the Football Nation Qualifying Cup first round. To start off, we have Berwick Rangers, who obviously didn't play this week due to the postponement. They're up against Spartans at Shielfield Park. I don't know. I can't see them getting much joy. I think Spartans will beat them. I'm sorry.
My God, that was a detailed summation, that wasn't it? No, to be fair, I think I would give Spartans more of the kind of favourite tag in this one. The thing with the Football Nation Cup, you don't know exactly how every team's going to line up in it, but Spartans take it ultimately seriously, and they've done well in that competition in the past few years. So yeah, let's stick for the Spartans winning that one, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it gets any better for Berwick Rangers here, and I think Spartans are just the stronger side at the moment. Their head's in a better place, and like you say, this is a cup that they quite like. And although they're on the road, I think Spartans will pick up the win and progress to the second round quite easily here.
Yep, they quite like it because they won it last season, obviously. Yep, University of Stirling versus Blackburn United. I quite like Blackburn United. They're a really good sort of community club. Obviously, David Severs is a part of Blackburn who does the attendances for the East of Scotland, South of Scotland, Lowland League, Highland League and stuff. So I just think University of Stirling at home, I think they'll probably grab the win against Blackburn.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Blackburn play East Stirlingshire in pre-season, and they've got a goal threat there. So they're a decent side, but I do fancy Unity be the team who goes through that particular tie. But yeah, it's only fair that any time a good kind of club like that isn't a Lowland club comes up in the cup draw, we give them credit where it's due, and they're a great wee community club.
Yeah, full house again. University of Stirling have made a really strong start to their season. Blackburn United, really good side, but I think the fixture will prove a bit too strong at this point in the season for them.
Civil Service Strollers versus Dunnipace. We went to Dunnipace a few times last season, Sean. Probably expect Civil Service Strollers to bounce back from that defeat against Kelty. Dunnipace, you never know. That's the good thing about the cup competition, is you never really know, because I think they'll certainly be up for it against Strollers at Christy Gillis Park, but I would expect a home win again for Strollers.
Totally agree again. Strollers are just going to be a bit too strong, and they're probably going to be playing with a wee bit of frustration after the way that their fixture on Saturday panned out. Dunnipace went there last season and very smart outfit, but Civil Service Strollers, they're just a step ahead. They're a good side for the Lowland League as well. And playing at home, I think they should be able to pick up the win here.
Full house. Again, Dunny Pace, as you guys have said, they're a club that are doing all the right things off the pitch. Great wee facility. Another one of these ex-junior teams that have jumped over, but on the pitch, I still think that Strollers will be too strong for them, and I expect a couple of goals, to be honest, for Gary Jordan's side.
Harder one to call. Edinburgh Uni versus Vale of Leven. I think we've covered this before, but since they beat them in the league on the weekend, I'm going to give it to Edinburgh Uni. I'm going to have to make them favourites, but Vale of Leven, I think Andel will want the boys to go out and get a bit of pride there from that defeat. It could be a revenge thing in the cup there.
I think 3-1 Edinburgh Uni. That's my prediction. No, an Edinburgh Uni win though. Obviously we've just seen them go out and be able to pick up the W against Vale of Leven, and I think they'll do it again here. It'll be interesting to see how the two sides take this on, because they're going to be, especially at this point in the season with how it's panned out early on, they're going to be very focused on the league, and it'll be interesting to see how they take on this competition. I don't think any team's not going to take the cup seriously, but yeah, they're going to have one eye on the league at this point in the season already, so it'll be an interesting one. But yeah, you've got to give Edinburgh Uni the edge. Just
purely based on what's happened last weekend, and obviously it might be a different story depending on who's available and ultimately who is in the first 11, but I think you need to give Uni the credit after last weekend and see if they can make it a double.
Gretna 2008 versus Socky Juniors. This is a harder one to call because both teams have not really started well in their leagues. It's going to be hard. I think Chris Humphreys obviously had a difficult start with Gretna, but Socky are obviously struggling in the east of Scotland to begin with, certainly. So I think both teams will use this as a bit of a proven point, I think, to try and obviously go out and maybe get a bit of league pride or something like that, and obviously they'll want to get through to the next round of the cup as well.
I would give the edge to Gretna on this one. I think they'll be looking at Socky. They're a good outfit, but they've struggled a little bit just like they have, and they need a win to just lift their heads because they've not had the best start, and this is a really good opportunity for them to do that. They've got a wee break from the league, and I think they'll go out there and they'll just want to have a good game, I think, and lift the heads up a bit.
I'll be honest, this could go either way. I've got no idea kind of how it's going to go, but one of these teams will get a nice bounce after having a tough start. You'd like to think that Gretna, being a home team in the higher league, would push for it and be the side kind of to make the run in, but who knows? Socky are where they are on merit, so it's an interesting one. Could go either way.
Yep, and our final fixture of the first round anyway, East House's Lily versus East Kilbride. East House's are at home. Kilby kind of struggled a wee bit in some of the cup competitions last season. I think they went out the majority of the time to East of Scotland competition. I don't see them going out to East House's Lily though in the first round. I think East Kilbride will be reeling from that defeat the weekend against Caledonian Braves, and they'll want to go out and punish one of the teams, and I think it might just be East House's.
I think they'll be a wee bit nervous because Lally are coming off a tough first round of the Scottish Cup qualifying, where they got a bit of a tanking at the weekend. So the one thing you don't want to see in the fixture list after that is East Kilbride coming to your place. Let's be honest. I fancy Kelty to win that and score a fair few goals, to be honest.
You're right, there was some surprise results with East Kilbride in the cup last season, but I think you've got to give them the advantage there. They're such a big side that they should be able to go out there and get the win. And
our final fixture is the Football Nations Qualifying Cup second round. Not to be too confusing, it's Gallagher Rovers versus Tranent Juniors. I think Gala have been very impressive to begin with. Obviously a late loss to Spartans, but Tranent aren't, they're not a bad team either, but I would probably home advantage at the Nidderdale. I'd give it to Gala, I would say.
Yeah, again, it's really tough to call. Tranent have got goals in them. That's one thing you can tell for their games they've had, especially the Whitehill Welfare game. Early doors, it was a bit of a 4-4 goal fest, but I think you've got to side with Gala being the home team. They're a tough team to play against in Etherdale at the best of times. I fancy them to get through.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you were to flip this on its head and put Gala away from home, it would be a bit tougher to call, but Netherdale, it's a tough place to go, and I think it should be a good weekend in the Cup for the Lowland League sides. Gala should win this one.
Brian, we'll move on to plugs. I'll let you go first as always, Derek.
Yeah, keep it nice and simple. As always, at Moza Plays on Twitter, and you'll find me wherever else from there. On to you, Sean.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SpedandSean, and you can also find the Lowland League Catchup on Facebook just under that title, Lowland League Catchup.
I'm at Rampant FM on Twitter, and you can obviously get the Catchup at Official Catchup on Twitter also. All three of us back in action. It's been a while. We obviously want to thank everyone for their support. We want to thank everyone for the interviews. The league support's fantastic. People like George Fraser. We appreciate everyone that listens. If you guys have questions, obviously you get us through Facebook, Twitter, either to me, Derek, or Sean. We're obviously happy to answer anything or give our opinion on anything. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
Catch you later.